Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today we are going to be talking about a lot of stuff because the anniversary is here. Congratulations Wotv, you have made your 1-year anniversary and you are making your players definitely feel like there is some good value and a lot of stuff that needs to be spent on. Okay, so when it comes to this 1-year anniversary, there's a lot to cover. There's version 3.0 updates. There is reviews of the brand new characters. There is all of the banners that I want to review. So there's quite a bit I need to talk about. So for the sake of this video and trying to keep it relatively short because my producer here is looking to cut down the time, we are going to be trying to keep this relatively focused. So I'm just for this video going to be talking about Yuna, Tidus, and Bahamut. I will be taking a look at all the other stuff in future videos, so please look forward to it, including talking about EX jobs. All of that stuff will be talked about in separate videos, so let's begin. All right, so first of all, there are 3 new big things in this game to try and get out of the gacha. There's Yuna, Tidus, and Bahamut. So I'm going to go through all 3, starting with Tidus, first of all. And I have already thought of basically my impressions of these characters, so there isn't really going to be a ton that I need to think about. All right, so let's talk about Tidus first of all. Taking a look, here's his limit burst so that everybody can take a look at it. It's a pretty cool multi-hit chaining ability that I do believe hits 4 times. Kind of interesting. I really want to pair Tidus with Glassy. I can already see some interesting combinations where he will be good. I'm kind of thinking in terms of which character I think he's very similar to. I think he's very similar to Ramza in the sense that he can he has damage focus, but not only that, he kind of has some support abilities that are much stronger in his kit, and I think that they are valuable enough that Tidus is worth a build. TMR Soul's not sorry. My bad. The TMR on him is not too much worse either. So looking at him, Master ability ups water characters' attack as well as HP, and he has he increases his own defense penetration by 20. So he's a plenty good user for himself and to put on a water team with any other water characters, and he'll do fine. He's a speed-focused physical attacker, and he is really good at that. His speed is particularly just, pretty darn strong. Grants debuffs when a critical occurs. We'll talk about that in a second. Basically, some of his attacks can grant a kind of debuff to the enemy, but in order to do that, it also needs to hit a critical. That's a big point to talk about. Also, he has a powerful master ability that can just power up a lot of strong water units. Glassy in particular is one I've mentioned, but Eldir is another. I think that it's just going to be good for future water units as well. And getting him into his EX job, as difficult as it may end up being, Jet Shoot, he gets a new ability attack, Jet Shot, which is also a defense down for 3 turns with medium style damage. So that's kind of interesting that, that's in there if you can get him up. However, I have to say, initial impressions of mine have kind of soured a little bit because the idea that you need to hit a critical to get his ability to really proc in terms of getting also the debuff towards the enemy is a big downside to it. Yeah, I don't think that it should be underestimated how bad that is because you're essentially spending AP and you want to get all of it. So you have this chance that it just doesn't work. Crits I like for doing extra damage. I don't like them for dependence. So I'm not crazy about this. Also, his reaction abilities aren't super duper strong. His kit ended up being a little weird, so let's go into it. First of all, his main, Blitzball Acer. He has Cheer, which essentially allows him to increase attack and defense for allies within range for 3 turns, AoE plus. Pretty good. Again, that's probably better for physical team, but the defense buff isn't bad either. That could be potentially really good for your, just other characters, just keeping them safe from physical damage. His critical path, damage that hits that tends to cause critical. Delay Buster, this is the one where it will reduce an enemy's CT for 3 turns if a critical hits. If not, well, I mean, it only costs 20 AP, but I still think that's a problem. Next up, Hastiga, his most powerful ability in his kit. For plus around him, he can grant basically CT accumulates faster for allies that he can buff for 3 turns. I think that this is the strongest thing in his kit. It's the most unique, but I do think that it is really good, and is one of the things that is really making me consider to build Tidus more than anything. Last but not least, Quick Trick, which does a CT down and speed up for 1 turn. Again, nice little ability. I think it's particularly good. Sipple Buster is another one that requires a crit to happen, but then it does get the sleep effect. Interesting, but eh. And Spiral Cut, move to the target square and damage the target after increasing your own critical damage. That's a good one. I have to say that, like, looking just at Tidus really quickly, I almost just want to run him as his main job and nothing in the sub, because continuing on, looking at his Paladin, Blade Rush, Saint Heal, Sentinel, Divine Grace, Saint Wall, Attract Blade, but no guts, nothing that really shouts out that he should be a tank, even though he does have a passive that will increase his HP and defense. Overall, I think he underperforms as a tank. You could potentially use him as a soft tank, but I would not recommend it. Samurai, Hein, Meditation, Nightbook. I think a lot of the fact of why I want him to run this guy as a samurai is, you know, building bravery for a new player. Tidus is probably going to be really good for just being able to buff up your other character's bravery, and I think that is good. So yeah, he can also increase evasion for himself and allies surrounding him in the plus form, and he gets the attack and evasion rate up for Sword Soul from Samurai. As for his own unique stuff, well, Chohatsu basically increases the chance of attack on the target for 3 turns. It's... how do I say this? It's not very good. It's not very good at all. I don't think that I'm particularly liking it. You probably want to run Paladin Guard instead, just because it reduces physical damage. Unfortunately, not magical damage too. Mind's Eye might also be okay, but I really do think that his main job kind of falls short for that. Mark of the Sun, attack, critical damage up for the support passive, and his other one, increased quickness and critical rate. Probably just want to run both of those. I think they work too well together, and critical seems to be the main part of his kit, so kind of like that. Last but not least, talking about value, we gotta talk about TMR. TMR is, as you can see here, 282 HP, 7 defense, 5 quickness, and some critical. I think this is a solid pair of equipment because it does have speed on it. It does have some HP, some defense, some critical. Everything that Tidus is looking for seems pretty good. As for the effect, increased critical rate and critical damage for 3 turns. This TMR might be really good, potentially on future units too, so I'm gonna give this a thumbs up. Not an incredibly big thumbs up, but enough of a thumb that it feels particularly okay. Either way, Tidus is a free copy first character, and then you need to get the shards to max him after. I think he is potentially an interesting speed character that has some side effects and a neat premise. I wouldn't go all in on the premise. If he's your first character, if you're starting a new account on the JP side, though, building him is definitely not a bad idea. And I think even long-term players should consider the fact that Hastiga and the fact that he has, you know, a very physical focused kit could make him just a absolutely solid unit, and considerably more solid than Cecil was. So yeah, I generally approve of Tidus, whatever. Next up, the summoner herself, Nebraska's, the Grand Summoner's daughter, Yuna. All right, so Yuna is, I think, the absolute real deal here. She is insane. She is nutty. Let's take a look at that limit burst. And I love this limit burst because I'm a big fan of Val 4. It is one of my favorite summons from Final Fantasy X. So seeing it here fully animated and everything is super cool. Summoners do not summon an extra character. They basically summon it's basically just an attack, but it does have a cool animation. So master ability, HP up, light attack up for light characters in the party, and own attack resistance +10. So Yuna's a little tanky. She learns powerful magic. She has great recovery skills and powerful master ability, but she is weak to physical attacks, which is a bit of a problem. Kind of show that a little bit later. So primary job, summoner. Secondary job, green mage. Third job, kotodama or messenger. Pretty strong kit. Looking at her summoner job, she does have first of all, Sonic Wings, which is an attack that calls in Val 4 to hit the enemy. Small damage, but also reduces CT of the enemy. Kind of interesting. Second ability, Prey, which allows her to heal, but it is a diamond style heal. And while it is a small amount, it does use TP, which, is good for generating AP. She does start with a high amount of AP. I think it's around 120-ish, so she's got access to a lot. And on her board, she also gets extra TP, which is good because she has a lot of healing abilities. She has Holy. It's exactly what it sounds like. You already know what it does, so that's a sure hit ability as well. Kiriga heals HP of allies within range medium. Re-raise, this is the big one. Cast Re-raise on a target. When they become incapacitated, it revives them with a small amount of HP. This is the thing that's going to make Yuna just way too good in Arena and everything. It has no turn limit on it, so it just casts and it is stuck. Again, I think it's super strong. Rest of the sub part of this job, she has Raise, Kira, and big single target heal, medium single target heal, and last but not least, Gift of Ebon. Increase your healing power for 3 turns when damaged as her counter for this job. Pretty nice, pretty solid, considering that a lot of her main kit ended up being just basically healing. Yeah, that's good. She up healing power after she gets hit. Probably going to be real good. Works well with Prey and all of that. And she does have some support abilities. First of all, in this job, ability activation time is shortened. Second, increase magic and healing power, which is, going to work in conjunction with Gift of Ebon. I think she will be an incredibly powerful healer because she not only relies on casting time, she just has Prey. All right. Green Mage, she has an ability that increases units' light resistance. She has Ruin, D-Shell, Weak. In other words, she can make an enemy weak to all attributes for 3 turns of about 25%. Speed Grant, and last but not least, a Dispel counter, which might actually be okay. I don't think it's incredible because it does have a little bit of range on it, but God's Blessing, increased resistance to magic to weakness and magical attacks, so debuff resistance right there. Emerald Echo, strengthening and weakening +1 turn. In other words, her debuffs and buffs get an extra turn to be active on the enemy, which is kind of interesting because the elemental debuff and other stuff actually seems alright here. Kind of just want to use that. Wouldn't be a video without sirens going by. Alright. Continuing on, Kotodama has the sure hit ability that is standard there, has the pain ability that can also cause stun and medium damage, move and jump up for 3 turns, pain pain that distorts the ground, move to a target square and deal damage large, so that ability is pretty good. Exploding Light, which has the, spreader style damage, which Summer Ketone had. Deprotect and Bewilder Suspicion Confusion effect to all targets that makes them inoperable for a turn. So, confusion basically. And also has the counter ability to reduce damage with a probability when receiving damage. Alright, so magic power up for support and resistance to mental and dark. I think that Yuna is a very strong character. Her limit burst is just powerful. It deals large damage and makes targets indispensable. In other words, it's a sure hit on her limit burst as well, which is very strong considering that limit bursts are very strong. Master ability is good. And last but not least, TMR, kind of interesting. I don't know how much I like this yet. 358 HP, 10 defense, 12 critical evasion. Ability is a heal around herself, including herself, medium, that also grants protect and shell. Might be okay, don't think it's incredible. But overall, Yuna is absolutely nuts. I don't even think I can properly explain how strong I think Yuna is in terms of like healing, in terms of the re-raise, in terms of all of that stuff. There's a lot in her kit to like, and so therefore it is a pretty easy recommendation that she is the healer you're probably going to want. And unfortunately, I don't have the friend version up. It just hasn't refreshed in like 72 hours. So I'm just going to add this very quickly. Now it should be noted that what I'm about to show you is pretty much a perfect build currently. I think that this is like one of the highest builds I've seen so far. So this is a full, and this is not mine by any means. This is a level 120 EX Yuna. As you can see, 5,000 HP, 91 speed, 348 TP, 228 AP, and 1500 magic just to top it all off. I don't think I need to explain why this is so strong and so powerful. Yuna is definitely the real deal when it comes to a light-based damage mage. She has good damage options, she has good debuff options, and she always has good healing options. She feels just really, really, really powerful, and I absolutely think she's awesome. Should be noted that some of these stats are coming from the new Bahamut summon and Bahamut card, which we are about to talk about. But either way, it is... I think that Yuna is a slam dunk in terms of kit design. She works really well with a lot of the most powerful light units that have come along recently, such as LC, and not only that, but Sakura as well, so she has companions that she can do well with. Yeah, I think that she is pretty great. Now, taking a look at Bahamut for a second, Bahamut is pretty ridiculous. First of all, this card power creeps a lot of different stuff, for instance, like just Ramuh's card, because that wasn't already a strong enough card. 50% increase to magic, 8% increase to agility to light-based units, as well as light-based attack goes up, and the single target's magic attack goes up too. This card, this summon, everything. Oh, sorry, I forgot to remove that image. There it is. This card is undeniably insane. I mean, the fact that it comes with Bahamut is like the least of concerns. If you have Sakura, if you have any intention of getting Yuna, Bahamut is so incredibly freaking powerful. The card is insane. It power creeps a ton of stuff, and it is definitely of a higher level card. I cannot stress this enough. Next, to talk about the summon itself, 50% magic increase and attack increase from using his attack in battle. Also guarantees a 100% chance of hitting with the attack, but a negative % chance of critting. Going to the skill tree, Bahamut as a summon is actually a magic-based summon. He is a magic-based version of Odin, and he is massive. Increased magic by a ton, human killer, magic attack, evocation damage, evasion rate, critical strike resistance, beast killer, and increased magic resistance as well. Bahamut is an absolutely insane summon. I cannot stress that enough, and I think that he is potentially maybe even too good. And it should be noted that he can only be got on his banner. I will talk about banners more in the next video, but yeah, insanely strong. So, as I have said too much the so word, overall, I think that Tidus is really solid, especially for free-to-play accounts. I think that he is just a strong UR, and if you have Glassy, he can pair really well with that. He can pair really well with other water units, and I think he has enough unique stuff in his kit that is particularly good if you can potentially get him to LB3 or higher. LB3 should be, pretty easy since all of the Final Fantasy X stuff kind of lasts until like December, the end of December. As for Yuna, a Yuna with Bahamut is just straight insane power creep. There doesn't need to be a UUR because it turns out this is good enough. It also should be noted that Bahamut does have half rate on his summons because it is a UUR card. But yeah, Bahamut is definitely an incredibly powerful summon. With the new 3-star summons being introduced, though, I do think it should be said that I don't think that Bahamut will be so insanely overpowerful over other summons, but he synergizes so well with Yuna. He is Yuna summon. He is Sakura summon. So if you like either of those characters, you can do a lot worse than trying to get this card. In the future, there'll probably be ways to get this card guaranteed, but since the first step is 1,000 Lapis, as a bonus for the end of this video for sticking to the end, here's a multi-pull. Well, so much for the luck, right? Oh, well, I mean, could be a lot worse, right? See, this is what you get for skipping the animation. Yuna cannot be got on this card. Neither can Tidus, so I've curbed my enthusiasm a little bit. Can you imagine if that was a vision card? How exciting that would be. Okay, alright. She might be interested in getting an EX job. But EX jobs are also another topic, so that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for talking about all the other stuff, including EXs and banners. So thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.